Hello, beautiful strangers, and welcome back to another episode of Myth. When last we left off, well, we were in the other world. And I keep wanting to hum the song from Final Fantasy X, but that's not important here. No, we're in the other world, and things don't look so good for the denizens of that place. In other news, I'm very full. I made a chicken parm for dinner. I betrayed myself and I used jarred sauce because there was a kind at a grocery store that I saw when I was looking at other stuff in the general area. It seemed vaguely interesting and I wanted to try it, and I was curious. It wasn't bad. I prefer homemade sauce. Jarred sauce is a little bit sweeter than I like, but it was actually pretty good. And that comes to someone, I really don't like a lot of jarred sauces. I'm very picky about my red sauce, but I made chicken parm. It was really good. I love chicken parm. I also realized as I take a drink, tasty, that this ale is a bit of a acquired taste, and I have acquired the taste for it. It's actually not bad. I don't mind it now. I also didn't realize last night, or when I bought it, and was looking at it, that it's 8.5% ABV, so that's fun. So this is like, I think your average bottle of beer is like 4.2% ABV. So that's fun. Oh, anyway, let's get back into it, shall we? After I finished eating, I really wanted to. What is it to die? To die. I want to try it. I positioned the saw Mama used on my chest. It was cold. A cold saw made me recall what I learned earlier in a book. The cardiopulmonary functions play the most important role in a human's ability to live. I didn't really get what that meant. I thought it had something to do with cards or plums, but I love Berserker, but the book had a picture in it. I love Berserker. It was very easy to understand once I looked at that picture. It was talking about the human chest. That's why I placed the saw on my chest. Whoa. That's why I was hacking at my chest. The saw warmed up. Whoa. The metal, I forgot he doesn't have a throat anymore. The metal blade moved inside of me. Tear, saw. It felt awful, but I couldn't stop. I didn't want to stop. Can't stop, won't stop, don't even know how to stop. I just wanted to die. Oh, it hurt. I lay in a pool of my own warm blood. I placed my hand on the part of my chest that was in pain. I took out my entrails. They looked just like the picture in the book. I really do like Berserker's manner of speech is really, really fun, and the way his thought processes are a lot of fun. I quite like them. It made me laugh. It was too funny. Whoa, go. It made no sense. Why would a different person have the same thing as me? We were different. Go. But one and the same. Oh. I screamed. I was sad. I had an idea. I needed to have someone let me die. Someone who wasn't Mama would do it. Someone would let me. And then I'd finally maybe be able to die. I'd finally be able to die. I got up. The pool of blood had already begun to coagulate, so when I got up, it ripped out a few pieces of my hair. Ugh. Ow. I opened the door with my hand and left. But there was a hallway, so I had to walk for a bit using my legs before I was actually outside. really long time since I last went outside. It had been so long that I couldn't remember the last time. Something oozed out of my head. It was a little unpleasant, but it was a better feeling than pain. It just felt strange. I asked someone walking by if they would do that for me. He was an old man with a small bow tie. Whoa, boo, 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 boo. Huh? What are you trying to say? Oh, right. I can't speak. This won't work. I thought this was a good idea, too. I guess I'll just head back home. You want me to let you die? What's that supposed to mean? What? What are you acting all surprised for? You're the one who asked me that. Of course I can. You're crazy. Wait, what did I say? Bubba? Wait, can you... Never, I don't know. I told you, I can hear you. Why? I'm gonna leave now. The old man left, looking at me like I was a weirdo. I didn't get it. He could hear me? He understood me? I tried asking a few other people. Everyone seemed to understand what I was saying. Whoa. It seemed like I was the only one who couldn't understand what I was saying. Why, though? Is there something wrong with me? I guess it doesn't matter. And I didn't know why, but no one seemed to understand what the meaning of what I was saying. Is it really that weird to say, let me die? I gazed at the people walking around this corner of town. Everyone looked the same to me. Bobu, Gubu. Sure, someone responded to me even though I was only muttering to myself. I was spacing out, so I didn't realize it at first, but there was a girl beside me. There was something strange about her. I couldn't really put my finger on why, though. Her strangeness was different from mine. I can't let you die. I can kill you, though. Yeah, you'll die that way. I see. So killing me will mean I'll die. I want her to kill me as soon as possible, and then I'll finally be able to die. You want to die? I nodded. Why? I shook my head. I didn't know why. Look. At yourself. I shifted my gaze so that I could look at myself, but it didn't feel like I was looking at myself. It was like I was observing myself. It felt natural to observe myself like that, even though it was the first time I had ever done so. Huh? Maybe this should have been obvious to me, but I realized that I was no longer myself. I gazed at what I once was. I realized that I was a mistake. You see, I get it now. I was what I once was. The vibrations in my throat didn't feel right, but it was all bizarre to me. But it felt nostalgic. Your very existence. Existence? I didn't get it. Existence. I should have known that word. But I can't remember. I really couldn't. Even the wispy black thing at my back seemed like a distant memory. Even you seemed to be just part of my past. But there was one thing I could definitely say to her. For showing me who I am. Thank you. I gave her my thanks. Follow me? She began to walk away. As I gazed at her back, I noticed what about her felt off. It was because she, too, had a black thing at her back. It was different from mine, though. It perfectly captured her contours, and it didn't leave her back. I followed her. I couldn't help but hang my head down. It was because I felt so strange. Pebbles on the road and that black entity at that girl's back filled my vision. At my back was my own black being. I really didn't get it. We're here. I looked up. The gusty wind tickling at my bangs began to blow against my cheeks. There was a moist scent. The green grass lightly tickled my heels. Yes, tightly licked my heels. Yeah, I'm fucking dumb. It was comforting. She looked at me. As I looked at that place, I had never seen anything like it before. All I could hear was the sound of the wind. All that near silence, and that near silence made the girl's voice sound beautiful as she said, "Welcome to the world of shadows." Interesting. What an interesting dream. Day 4, Men of Reason. The birds chirped. It must have been morning. My eyelids felt heavy. Before me was a large creature. Rabbit. Rabbit. Something slimy traced across my cheek. The course of action I had to take in this unpleasant, unexpected situation was obvious. Distance myself from the unpleasantness. I quickly got up, sending the creature flying. Bonjour, Mato. Sleep well? Till I woke up. God, I would probably have a very similar reaction if I woke up to a frog licking my face. Or actually, I don't think the frog was licking his face. I think it was just a slimy frog touching his face, but whatever. Semantics. So smirked, there was no doubt that it was she who put the frog on my forehead. And out of here. I mean, I've woken up to cat licking my face, but that only happened briefly because she wasn't quite sure how cleaning worked, so she would clean me because she would lay next to my head. And so she would clean me while she was laying there because she couldn't quite figure out that, I'm just supposed to clean myself and whatever. She doesn't do that anymore. She now has figured out how to actually clean herself. I couldn't put up with her doing this sort of stuff every morning. But I want to stay. What's the problem? There's a big problem, and you know it. For somehow I don't remember. Well, I sort of remember the voice I was trying to do for her, but I gave myself a headache doing it yesterday. So I'm gonna try to think of something else. All right, whatever. Where's everyone else? We're getting breakfast ready. Should be up and done. They told me to wake you up. See. She didn't have to wake me up like she did, but I suppose expecting any better from her was hopeless. I might just actually for her do a little bit higher pitched of my normal voice and just do a lot of variances like ups and downs and highs and lows and so on and so forth. Nah, not sure. I stretched. What should I do today? I'm up. I headed for the living room. Breakfast was already prepared. Ah, Mato-san, good morning. Good morning? Yeah. What a lovely image. All eating pieces of fish and what looks like fruit and there's some kind of berries in the middle there. And I don't know what the larger dish kind of looks like a salad. Maybe with rice or something in the middle. I'm not quite sure. It looks like cherry tomatoes on it with a greener on this. I don't know. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be depicting. I'm not well versed in Japanese cuisine. Shall we begin? Also, she has a bowl of rice. Nobody else has a bowl of rice. Yeah, I got nothing. I'd like put my face right up against the screen just in case I could see any slight details, but no. I have no idea what this thing in the middle is. Looks delish. We all began to dig in after that. So yummy. Shimon took a bite of dried horse mackerel. Never had mackerel before, actually. Maybe I will. No, I probably won't someday. Where I live doesn't exactly have a thriving mackerel market. I do like fish, though. Yeah, it tastes different. I just now realized because it's, Riri has the other two things of rice, but she only has two, which would mean that Meto ain't getting shit. Meto doesn't even have a plate at the table. He doesn't get to eat with everybody else. Breakfast was no different from yesterday, but the taste had a nuanced difference to it. I couldn't put my finger on why that would be the case. Probably cooked to a better temp and salt, maybe? Properly salted, peppered. I like garlics and a couple of different kinds of herbs on fish. At least on red fish. I like, and white fish, to be fair. Garlic, God, I'm trying to think of the herbs. Rosemary, thyme, dill. I love dill. Anyway. Lemon juice, maybe? Lemon is good for if you're trying to cut down on salt using a little bit of lemon juice in addition to. It works quite well. Not too much or it will be lemony, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's actually one of the things I do with chicken is I don't put very much salt, but I sort of let it marinate in lemon juice for a bit for whole chickens. I want it to be a bit more lemony, to be fair, but it's the way that I do it. I think it's the Julia Child method, kind of, sort of. You basically like crush up, like not crush with the garlic crush, like press and kind of crack a bunch of garlic. Mix it with some lemon juice. I put a little bit of black pepper with that as well, or I will put the black pepper like on it later. Put some herbs. I like doing rosemary and dill, like quite a bit of it, and with lemon juice, and a little bit of olive oil, and then kind of cover the chicken, your whole chicken with it, and let it kind of sit and soak, and then whenever you can let it sit for a little bit, it's basically I usually use the time it takes for my oven to preheat. And then put the squeezed pieces of fresh lemon and the herbs and garlic into the cloaca of the chicken. And then lightly-ish season the outside of a chicken. I mean, it's still a whole fucking chicken. It's, skin on and everything, so I'm not putting like a pinch of salt for an entire chicken, but not as much as you might think otherwise, especially if you're brining the chicken. Salt, some pepper, a little bit more olive oil on top. And then bake it until it's done. And that's a very vague way of doing that. I really like chicken. The whole chicken it's one of my favorite things, just because it's simple and nice. Not everything needs to be super heavily seasoned. Despite me, heavily seasoning a lot of things. Especially certain types of meat. Anyway, I'm distracted. What's that mean? Exactly what I said. Shimon was hung up on what I just stated. Of course it is. Why wouldn't the flavor be different? What? She looked like she was in heaven a minute ago. What was her problem? Riri, what's Shimon mad about? I sought Riri's help. Shimon-san usually makes breakfast, but I decided to make it today. I suppose that's why it might taste a bit different. Huh, I guess so. So it would appear that food tastes different depending on who makes it, and how the person feels when they're making it, and quality of the ingredient. Never mind. I'm not exactly in a cooking mood, but I did, like I said, make chicken parm earlier. I really like chicken parm, and I don't make it very often. Because I always eat too much of it, because it's really fucking good. I'm still not sure why Shimon's mad, though. She likely compared the taste of my food to her own. Huh? I still don't get it. God, you're dumb. Big hint. A woman's heart. A woman's heart? I had never heard of there being a difference between a man and a woman's heart before. Was she referring to the anima and animus? It would make sense that I wouldn't understand Shimon's so-called woman's heart or her completed anima. In the event that her anima and my animus were facing opposite directions, of course. This fucking guy. This fucking... What are you thinking so hard about? A man and woman's animus and anima and their respective orientation. I was recalling Jung's theory. I'm pretty sure his name's not Jung. I'm pretty sure it's Jung or Jung or something like that. I'm gonna go with Jung. Meito-san, just give your honest opinion. I already did. No, about Shimon-san's cooking. My opinion hasn't really changed. Prefer Riri-san's cooking, right? Because hers is... They both taste like food. She began to blush. What's the problem? I just said the obvious. Riri suddenly covered my mouth. What? You shouldn't go on. I realized what she was getting at. Apparently what I said made Shimon happy. Based on my past experiences, I tried to figure out why that might be the case, but I couldn't come up with anything. This fucking guy. I guess that put an end to this problem at the very least. Fucking, if you're ever in this situation, just cry. Oh man. Meito is a moron. So you really do understand a woman's heart. You're gonna be the most popular guy around soon. That's not what you were saying earlier, is what I wanted to say. But I kept my mouth shut. Oh my god, he's learning! He's learning! Let's continue. I noticed that Shimon's plate was now empty after that chat we just had. It was obvious who the culprit was, because their plate was empty as well. Fudgesicles. Looked like she had just finished. Son, that's so mean. Didn't anyone ever tell you not to talk while eating? This is your punishment. Jeez. Abracadabra alakazam. Does she think she's a magician or something? Don't worry, Shimon-san. I'll make some more. You don't have to cry. Thank you. Today's breakfast was particularly rowdy. What happened to your... never mind. It was nostalgic in a way. I can't think too much about designs of, suddenly missing eyes, or nose, or mouth, or other varying body parts. It doesn't mean anything, right? Right? Anyway, about what's planned for today. I wanted to confirm today's plans, so I called out Riri and Shimon. You're supposed to talk with Takatomi today, correct? Yes, she'll definitely tell us everything we need to know. Hopefully. Riri, if she seemed reluctant to answer... Yes? Yes. Hit her with a leading question. Try her hardest to get her to cooperate with us. I don't believe you'll have to worry about that, but understood. Riri and Shimon soon left. I stood up after watching them leave. I had my own plans. He ain't coming. Yeah, this ale is definitely grown on me. What I guess is something, because it means I like a, kind of beer or ale or whatever that I can get at a local grocery store that's, not Guinness. I do like Guinness though, especially extra stout. We waited for Hibiki. We had been waiting for almost an hour already. Well, it's not like we told her to be here at a specific time. Let's just start without her. There was no guarantee she was even going to show up. Also, we were the ones making her hang out with us, and it wasn't like she didn't have the right to make choices of her own. Here. So handed me a sickle and we turned to face the shrubs and other greenery. Sure is dense. That was obviously going to be the case, though. The shrubs surrounded the entire tree line. So, how much? Heave-ho! She had already begun working. Hey, tell me how much of this you want me to cut? Huh? Just do whatever. She didn't even bother to look. Her mind was completely lacking in the concept of planning ahead. You aren't going to make your ideal base if you don't have a plan. It'll either be too cramped or too wide. Hiccup. I'll worry about that later. So frustrating. Then we're going to be wasting our time. We need to be more efficient. It ain't a waste of time. We are rewarded if we put some effort into it. God is watching over us as we work. Hami-san. She was simple to a fault. Was there really anything wrong with taking a few moments to figure out what would be the most efficient course of action? I prefer Super Kamiguru if you ask me, but whatever. Anyway, at least tell me what you plan on putting inside our base once it's done. Let's see. We need space for all three of us, plus a place to sleep, and a playroom, and command center. In other words, we needed a lot of space. It'd be nice if we had something to measure with. Just have to estimate. So if we need space for 3 people, and some additional space to store things, then this should be good. I placed large stones around the perimeter of what would serve as our base. So, this is all the space you'll need. Start cutting the shrubs. I issued my command to sow after placing the stones down. Seems kind of small to me. We want something a little bigger? Hey, it's a good size. No, I'm kidding. I've already accounted for extra space already. Any more space would just be a waste. Okay then. I returned to work after I finished these calculations. We'd be able to make some decent progress now. Cut the left side, Mei-chin. She headed for the right side. It made sense to split up the work, so I moved to the left side and began to cut grass and shrubs. Ew. I wondered how long we'd been at it for. It must have been a while because my right arm was pretty tired. So kept on trucking though. We didn't talk at all as we worked. She seemed to be the type who would fall silent when concentrating. She was likely tired too, so that made sense. I decided to take a break and lie down on the ground where I had been cutting. It was just an empty space, but it was my empty space that I'd created through my own hard work. I was just exhausted. There was nothing else to it. Miroslav-san, So-san. Someone was calling for us. Yo, Hibiki-chan. So stopped working for a moment. I'm sorry that I'm late. It's not like we were supposed to meet at a specific time. There's no reason for you to worry about being late or early. I'm sorry. And it's not like you have to apologize. I decided not to say that out loud though. I didn't want to go in circles. In fact, I didn't really want to talk much at all if I could help it. You brought some? So's words prompted me to look at the black being's hands. She was carrying something that was a different color from her shadowy fingers. I made this. She presented a bag up to us. Inside of it was... oh, lunch. A rectangular box for lunch. Apparently it contained food. I have drinks too. She then took out something made of bamboo. If she wasn't lying, it must have held something for us to drink. I was just getting hungry too. Let's take a break. Hibiki and So-san sat under the shade of a tree. Meito-san, if you'd like some, I'm fine. I was hungry, but I couldn't help but think about how her shadow hands made whatever that was, and I couldn't fathom putting it in my mouth as a result. I decided to get back to work. I didn't feel like talking with either of them. Don't take him seriously, he's just being shy. Really? Totes, that's just what boys his age are like. Hey, he's a tsundere. So was trying to justify my actions, but she was completely wrong. Yeah, you're just a kudere, and she ain't the person you're cooing for. I think that's the right term. I think kudere is the correct thing that I'm thinking. Whatever. She must have realized why I refused to eat the black being's lunch. I continued my work without refuting her. And I think this is where I'm going to end off this episode. I was actually going to end it off a little bit sooner, but I was enjoying reading because I really like this visual novel. Anyway, next time we're going to continue on building the secret base with So and Hibiki. Well, I hope to see you all there.